Anyone from Manchester will tell you just how impressively the city has developed over the past 12 years. In the decade since 2014, when Greater Manchester got its first devolution deal with the UK government, Manchester, considered the UK's second city and capital of the north, has outpaced the UK average in terms of productivity growth, attracting more foreign investment than any region outside of London. In fact, most big cities, but especially Leeds, Liverpool and Manchester, are vastly outpacing London in terms of productivity growth, raising hopes that the UK economy may finally be diversifying away from London. So in this video, we'll explain why it looks like the UK economy might finally be becoming less London-centric, and why, even if you love London, that's probably a good thing. Never miss an episode and always feel in the loop by subscribing and ringing the bell. So to understand this, let's start by explaining the UK economy's over-reliance on London. The UK has a long-standing problem with regional inequality, with London and the South East being far wealthier than the rest of the country. The median weekly pay in London is roughly 20% higher than the national average, according to ONS data, and all but one of the UK's richest regions are in London or its surrounding areas. Moreover, analysis by John Murdoch in the Financial Times suggests that if you removed London from the UK's economic output, the average GDP per capita in the UK would fall below that of the poorest regions in the US and the Netherlands. This is bad for a number of reasons. Not only does it make the UK's economy dangerously dependent on a handful of lucrative London-based service industries, like finance, law and consulting, it's also politically toxic, because the UK's other regions understandably feel left behind, which is why Boris Johnson's talk of levelling up was so electorally successful back in 2019. However, recent data suggests that the UK might finally be rebalancing away from London. Since 2014, for instance, Greater Manchester has seriously outpaced the capital in terms of gross value added, or GVA, growth, a metric for productivity that essentially measures how much value the economy got from the number of hours worked. Moreover, since 2015, Greater Manchester has seen average annual growth of 3.1%, double the UK average of 1.5%. According to analysis by economist JP Spencer between 2015 and 2023, Greater Manchester's GVA also outperformed the UK's averages in almost every economic sector, and often by a long way. This reflects Manchester's successful pivot to a service-based economy, and suggests that other regions with strong post-pandemic growth in productivity, 6 out of 10 of which are in the north and half of which have mayoral devolution, could also catch up with London. In fact, while Greater Manchester is the fastest growing city region in the UK, most other large cities, including Leeds and Liverpool, have experienced faster productivity growth than London since 2019. Research published in October by the Centre for Cities think tank shows that the productivity gap between London and other big cities is narrowing for the first time in at least a decade, and is actually now the smallest on record. This suggests that the country is slowly levelling up, with other English cities now catching up to London. So what's behind this apparent shift? Well, we've got two main explanations. First, political devolution, and second, economic diversification. In 2014, the Greater Manchester Combined Authority became the first city region in England to secure a devolution deal with the UK government, giving additional powers, including transport, employment and skills support, and planning, to an elected Metro Mayor, Andy Burnham, from 2017. Since 2014, a growing number of English combined authorities have secured devolution deals, with more than half, 51.49%, of England now covered by a Metro Mayor. Politically, these mayors have been a triumph. Polling by Centre for Cities in March 2024 found that Metro Mayors have become by far the most recognisable local politicians, especially in London, Greater Manchester, Tees Valley and the West Midlands. But the most recent data suggests that this devolution has also been a success economically. This seems to be in part because Metro Mayors can also allocate funding to local projects faster and more effectively than Westminster. For instance, Burnham's £1 billion Greater Manchester Good Growth Fund, a pot made up of government cash and £300 million from Greater Manchester's pension fund, shows how strategic investment in long-term projects like house building schemes and town centre regeneration projects, such as the much-credited regeneration of Stockport, can happen much more rapidly when done at a regional level. Another example is Greater Manchester's B network, an integrated public transport network of buses, trams and cycle lanes, a big part of which has been Burnham's bus franchising initiative, i.e. taking privatised bus services back under local government control. Since 2022-2023, the last year before bus franchising began, Greater Manchester has seen the biggest increase in passenger journeys of any northern region. And in the past 3 years, growth in bus journeys in Manchester has outpaced many other parts of the UK. This more integrated transport network has helped support economic growth by contributing to the city's agglomeration effects, the idea that clustering businesses and people increases productivity and drives growth. Journalists and policymakers have long called for a similar approach in Leeds too, the biggest European city without a mass transit system, to support Leeds' fast-growing services sectors, such as professional services, health tech, and data processing. This success of the Metro mayors and their economic programmes suggests that the power of the British state is, or at least used to be, too centralised, to the detriment of the UK's regions, something that Whitehall's critics have long argued. These mayors have also been helped by the second reason on our list: economic diversification. Many areas in the North and Midlands that previously relied on manufacturing were hit hard by deindustrialisation. London was able to thrive by shifting its economy towards professional services, but it sort of monopolised the UK's services industry. However, in recent years, other cities have seen their service industries boom. Much of Greater Manchester's growth over the past 15 years, for instance, mostly in Manchester's city centre and the surrounding areas to the south, has been fueled by growth in financial and legal services, as well as more recently by the digital, technology and life science sectors. Moreover, the growth of high-tech and digital businesses has made Manchester one of the top UK cities for tech startups outside of London, and this expanding base of companies has helped to maintain economic momentum and demand for commercial and residential space. Hence the 25+ new skyscrapers that have been built in Manchester city centre since only 2018. Unlike the UK more widely, Manchester has also been helped by its unique political stability. Manchester City Council has only changed leadership twice over the last 4 decades, and the city has overwhelmingly elected Burnham as mayor for 3 consecutive terms. Sir Howard Bernstein, who retired as Manchester City Council's chief executive in 2017 after 19 years, is also credited with creating the conditions for the city's growth, namely a collaborative approach and consistent leadership. This suggests that if other regions focus on stable governance, long-term investment, and economic diversification, they too could catch up with London. Now, this is a big story, and amongst every other big story happening right now, you might be feeling powerless in the current climate. The problems feel massive, and individual actions can feel meaningless. But what if we told you that you can be part of something bigger, something that actually turns concern into action? Well, that's where our friends at Planet Wild come in. Planet Wild is not just your usual environmental organisation. It's a passionate community built around a clear focus, protecting and conserving the world we all live in. We're more aware than ever that the world is a scary place, and the state of our planet needs to change. So every single month, the Planet Wild community funds a mission to protect endangered animals, restore our forests, and clean our oceans. They document all of these missions in videos here on YouTube, so we can see exactly what we've helped to achieve. The impact we've all made will be right before our eyes. From cleaning up Mumbai's plastic river to protecting Europe's last ancient forest, and even saving elephants with the help of bees. Planet Wild will stop at nothing to make the world a better place for every living being on it. So where do you and I come in? Well, by becoming a member, we're directly funding a brand new nature mission from the comfort of our own home. We support, they execute. If you want to join the growing community making a real difference, Planet Wild is the place to be. Big or small, your difference matters, and you can contribute as little as $6 a month to help protect nature. We're big fans of Planet Wild, so much so that the first 100 people to use code NEWS2 will get their first month paid for by us. Just scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description. By joining today, you'll immediately be making a difference and even be able to see your impact in less than 30 days on YouTube right here. You can cancel your membership at any time, so there's absolutely no catch. Just an easy and remarkable way to create real and lasting change. And if you want to see them in action, check out their mission cleaning up Mumbai's river plastic.